Have you ever stopped to think about what it means to be smart? It seems like a simple question, but it is not. We use the word smart to describe many different things. A young programmer building an app from scratch, a historian knowing every detail of a forgotten battle. Both are intelligent, but their intelligence feels different. One is quick, new, adaptive. The other is deep, learned, wise. This difference is fundamental to how our brains work. Cognitive psychology gives us a framework to understand this. Intelligence is not one thing, it's at least two. Psychologists call them fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. Fluid intelligence is your ability to think on your feet. It is the raw processing power of your brain. It's what you use when you face a problem you've never seen before. Imagine being handed a strange puzzle box. You have no instructions, you have only your ability to reason, see patterns, adapt your strategy. That is fluid intelligence in action, solving without relying on past experience. The power to think abstractly and logically in the moment. Your mind's ability to be flexible and resourceful. Crystallized intelligence is different. It's not about raw processing power. It's about your mental library, the sum of everything you've learned over your lifetime. Think of your vocabulary. Think of the historical facts you know. Think of the skills you have practiced for years. This is your crystallized intelligence. When you write an essay, you use grammar rules you learned long ago. When a mechanic diagnoses a familiar engine problem, they're drawing on years of experience. This form of intelligence doesn't rely on quick, novel thinking. Instead, it relies on accessing and applying what you already know. These two forms of intelligence work together. One allows us to navigate the new and the unknown. The other allows us to master the familiar and build expertise. Understanding this distinction is more than an academic exercise. It helps explain why our abilities change as we get older. It sheds light on how we learn and grow throughout our lives. It even gives us clues about how to build smarter technology. The story of fluid and crystallized intelligence is the story of how our minds are built. It's a journey into the very nature of what it means to think, to learn, and to be human. Let's make this idea more concrete. Imagine you get a new smartphone. It is a brand you have never used before. The buttons are in different places. The software is unfamiliar. There is no user manual in sight. What do? You start tapping and swiping. You experiment. You look for patterns in the interface. You use logic to figure out how to connect to Wi-Fi or download an app. This process of learning through trial, error, and abstract reasoning is a perfect example of fluid intelligence. You're not relying on what you already know. You're solving a new problem in real time. It is your brain's ability to adapt and reason on the fly. This is thinking fast. Now consider a different task. You are sitting down to write an important email to your boss. You need to be persuasive and professional. To do this, you draw upon your large vocabulary to choose the right words. You use your knowledge of grammar and sentence structure to form clear arguments. You might even recall lessons from a past communication workshop. Everything you are doing relies on skills and information you have acquired over many years. This is crystallized intelligence. It is not about discovering something new. It is about effectively using the vast store of knowledge you have built. This is thinking deep. It is expertise in action. The difference between these two scenarios is key. Fluid intelligence is like being a detective at a brand new crime scene. Crystallized intelligence is like being a seasoned judge in a courtroom. Both roles require immense mental skill, but the nature of that skill is fundamentally different. One is about immediate, flexible problem solving. The other is about the wise application of accumulated knowledge. This distinction sets the stage for a fascinating exploration of the human mind. It raises important questions. Why do some of our mental abilities seem to peak when we are young, while others continue to grow? How do our brains support these two different kinds of thought? And what does this all mean for how we approach our education, our careers, and the process of aging itself? In the following sections, we will dive deeper into each type of intelligence. We will look at where they come from, how they work in our brains, and why understanding them can help us lead smarter, more fulfilling lives. Let's begin the journey. Table of Contents. Part 2. Act 1. Fluid Intelligence Explained. 1. The brain's raw processing power. 2. Seeing the unseen, patterns and logic. 3. The speed of thought. 4. The rise and gentle fall of fluid thinking. Let's dive deeper into the first of our two minds, fluid intelligence. At its core, fluid intelligence, often abbreviated as GF, is the pure, unadulterated processing power of your brain. Think of it as the hardware you are born with. It is not about the software you have installed over the years, the facts, figures, skills you have learned. Instead, it is the raw capacity of your central nervous system to think, reason, and process information. It is what allows you to tackle a problem you have never encountered before, using nothing but logic and abstract thought. It is the engine that drives your ability to learn new things from scratch. One of the most important is abstract thinking. This is the ability to think about concepts that are not physically present. Justice, freedom, infinity. It allows you to move beyond the concrete world of objects and into the realm of pure ideas. This skill is crucial for solving problems that require seeing the bigger picture or understanding complex systems. A mathematician, a philosopher. It is the ability to see the forest, not just the individual trees. Another critical component is mental flexibility. Our world is not static. It is constantly changing. Plans get disrupted, rules change, and new challenges emerge unexpectedly. Fluid intelligence is what gives you the ability to adapt. It is the mental nimbleness to pivot your strategy when your first approach fails. Imagine playing a complex board game. Your opponent makes an unexpected move that ruins your plan. Your ability to quickly reassess the board, abandon your old strategy, and formulate a new one on the spot is a direct expression of your fluid intelligence. It is the opposite of rigid, dogmatic thinking. It is the mind's capacity to bend without breaking. Finally, fluid intelligence is about problem solving in novel situations. This is its most practical and observable function. When you are assembling a piece of flat-pack furniture with confusing, wordless instructions, you are in a pure fluid intelligence test. You must analyze the shapes, deduce how they fit together, and build a mental model of the final product. You cannot rely on past furniture building experience if this piece is unique. You must rely on your inherent ability to reason through a new challenge. This is why we often refer to it as thinking on your feet, the explorer, the inventor, the innovator. A defining feature of fluid intelligence is the ability to recognize patterns. Our brains are natural pattern detection machines. This is the faculty that powers that instinct. It is the skill you use when you listen to a new piece of music and instinctively grasp its rhythm. It also helps you grasp its melody, and it is what allows you to look at a series of abstract shapes, like those on an IQ test, and immediately identify which one comes next in the sequence. This ability is not about having seen that specific pattern before. It's an innate capacity to perceive order and logical progression in chaotic or unfamiliar information. It is the foundation of logical reasoning itself. This leads us to logical deduction. Fluid intelligence is the engine of pure logic. It lets you take a set of premises and work to a valid conclusion, even if the subject matter is completely alien. All squigs are blorps. Fido is a squig, therefore, Fido is a blorp. You don't need to know what squigs or blorps are. Fluid intelligence reveals the argument's logical structure so you reach the correct conclusion. The same skill powers a programmer debugging code and a scientist designing an experiment. That pattern-seeking and logical ability is deeply connected to working memory. Working memory is your brain's mental workspace, its RAM. It's the temporary storage where you hold and manipulate info to finish a task. When solving a complex math problem in your head, you use working memory to hold the numbers. You use it to remember the steps and to calculate the answer. Strong working memory is essential because it lets you keep all the pieces of a new problem in your head at once. Imagine navigating a new city with a map for the first time. Look at the map, the pattern. Orient yourself to your surroundings, the logic. Hold the next few turns in your head till it's working memory. Then your hotbar in as you walk. In each case, you aren't relying on deep-seated knowledge. You're using fluid intelligence to engage with a novel system, find its underlying logic, and operate effectively within it. One of the most noticeable characteristics of fluid intelligence is its connection to speed. Speed is the point. Fluid thinking is fast thinking. It is the ability to process information quickly. It is the ability to make rapid connections. It is the ability to react swiftly to changing circumstances. Think of a professional gamer processing huge visual info on screen. Think of the split-second decisions that determine victory or defeat. That incredible speed of thought is a hallmark of high fluid intelligence. A firefighter entering a burning building must rapidly assess the structure. A firefighter must assess the fire's spread. A firefighter must identify potential escape routes. An improvisational actor on stage must instantly react to a partner's line and come up with something clever and fitting. This processing speed is why fluid intelligence is often measured using timed tests. Classic IQ tests feature pattern matching. They include spatial reasoning. They include logic puzzles. These almost always have a strict time limit. The goal is not just to see if you can solve the problem, but how efficiently you can do it. Time pressure forces reliance on raw processing power over slow, learned approaches. It is the quick wit that helps you win a debate. It is the rapid calculation that helps you avoid a car accident. It is the flash of insight that solves a stubborn puzzle. It is the horsepower of the mind, like an engine measured by how fast it can go. This speed is a defining element separating it from the more deliberate knowledge-based counterpart. Perhaps the most fascinating, and for some unsettling aspect of fluid intelligence is its relationship with age. Research consistently shows that fluid intelligence tends to peak in early adulthood. For most people, this peak occurs somewhere in their 20s or early 30s. This is the period of life when your brain's raw processing speed, working memory capacity, ability to tackle novel, abstract problems, are at their absolute zenith. It is a time of maximum cognitive horsepower. This biological peak is why young adults often excel in fields that demand rapid learning, mental flexibility, innovative problem solving, such as theoretical physics, competitive gaming, software development. After this peak in early adulthood, fluid intelligence begins a slow, gradual decline. This is a natural part of the aging process. The brain's processing speed may slow down slightly. Working memory might not be able to hold as many items at once. Solving a brand new type of logic puzzle might take a little longer than it would have a decade or two earlier. It is important to emphasize that this decline is typically very gentle and does not signify a loss of overall intelligence. It is simply a shift in the specific cognitive tools that are sharpest. Why does this happen? The leading theory is that fluid intelligence is more closely tied to the biological health and efficiency of the brain, particularly the prefrontal cortex. This region of the brain is responsible for executive functions like reasoning, planning, working memory. As we age, natural changes occur in our neural structures. The speed of neural transmission can decrease, the density of certain connections can change. These subtle biological shifts are believed to be the primary drivers of the decline in fluid intelligence. It is less about a loss of ability and more about a change in the underlying biological machinery that supports that ability. However, this is not a story of inevitable decay. While the decline is a well-documented trend, its slope is not the same for everyone. Lifestyle factors play a significant role. Regular physical exercise, engaging in mentally stimulating activities, maintaining a healthy diet, getting enough sleep. The brain is not a static organ. It is plastic and can be maintained. By actively challenging your mind with new skills, puzzles, experiences, you can help keep your fluid intelligence sharper for longer, even as the years go by. It is a reminder that while biology sets the curve, our choices help determine its trajectory. Now we turn our attention to the second of our two minds, crystallized intelligence. If fluid intelligence is the brain's raw processing power, crystallized intelligence, or GC, is its vast and ever-expanding library. It represents the accumulation of knowledge, facts, skills, and experiences that you have gathered throughout your entire life. This is not about how fast you can think, but about what you have to think with. It is the rich database of information you have learned in school, through reading, and from your interactions with the world. It is the sum total of your learning, stored away and ready for use. Think of it as the software your brain has meticulously installed and updated over decades. One section is dedicated to factual knowledge. This includes the capital of France, the principles of gravity, the dates of major historical events, and the rules of grammar. This is the kind of information you might need for a trivia game or a history exam. It is concrete, specific, and learned. Another section of the library contains procedural knowledge, the how-to guides. This is your knowledge of how to ride a bicycle, how to type on a keyboard, or how to cook your favorite meal. Crystallized intelligence also includes a deep understanding of your culture and society. It is knowing social customs, understanding common metaphors, and grasping the unwritten rules of human interaction. When you understand the humor in a political cartoon, or know the appropriate thing to say at a funeral, you are drawing on your crystallized intelligence. This cultural knowledge is absorbed over a lifetime and allows you to navigate your social world effectively. It is the intelligence that connects us to others. Crucially, this form of intelligence is not about simply memorizing isolated facts. It is about the ability to access this information and apply it in meaningful ways. A historian with high crystallized intelligence doesn't just know a lot of dates, they can weave those dates into a compelling narrative about cause and effect. A skilled mechanic doesn't just know the parts of an engine, they can listen to a strange noise and use their deep knowledge to diagnose the problem. Crystallized intelligence is functional knowledge. It is the ability to use your mental library not just for storage, but for comprehension, problem-solving, and creation. Unlike fluid intelligence, which is largely determined by biological factors, crystallized intelligence is built almost entirely through experience and learning. The process begins in childhood. Every word a parent teaches you, every story you are read, every lesson you learn in school. Formal education is one of the most powerful builders of crystallized intelligence. It systematically provides you with a broad base of factual knowledge, mathematics, science, literature, history, forming the initial shelves of your cognitive library. This process of accumulation continues long after you leave the classroom. Every book you read, every documentary you watch, every insightful conversation you have. People with a high degree of intellectual curiosity tend to build more extensive and diverse stores of crystallized intelligence. This is why reading widely is so often associated with wisdom. Practice is another essential architect of crystallized intelligence, particularly for building skills. When you first learn to play a musical instrument, you rely on fluid intelligence to understand new rules and coordinate movements. But as you practice for hours, days, and years, that knowledge becomes crystallized. The movements become automatic, your understanding of music theory deepens, and you can play complex pieces without conscious effort. This is true for any expertise: carpentry, coding, public speaking. Deliberate practice transforms novel, effortful tasks into a solid, reliable part of your crystallized skill set. One of the most profound aspects of crystallized intelligence is its role in forming what we often call wisdom and judgment. This goes beyond knowing facts or possessing skills. It is the ability to apply a lifetime of experience to complex, real-world problems. Instead, you draw upon a deep well of past experiences. Your successes, your failures, your observations of others. This is crystallized intelligence in its most sophisticated form. Think of an experienced leader guiding a company through a crisis. They may not be the fastest thinker in the room, but they have seen similar situations before. They can anticipate potential pitfalls, manage conflicting personalities, make decisions based on a deep understanding of organizational dynamics. This judgment is not something they were born with. It was forged in the crucible of decades of challenges. It is their crystallized intelligence providing a steady hand. A veteran teacher, for example, can walk into a classroom and almost instantly gauge the mood of the students. They have seen thousands of classes and can recognize the subtle cues of boredom, confusion, excitement. They can then draw on a vast repertoire of teaching strategies they have honed over the years to engage the students effectively. This is not slow, plodding thought. It is the instantaneous application of deeply learned expertise. An older person, drawing on their crystallized intelligence, is more likely to see it as a temporary and survivable event, a learning opportunity. They have a larger collection of personal and observed experiences to compare it to, which helps them regulate their emotional response and make more balanced judgments. This is the essence of wisdom, the ability to use the knowledge of the past to navigate the present with grace, perspective, and effectiveness, turning raw experience into practical insight. Language is a cornerstone of crystallized intelligence. Your vocabulary, your understanding of grammar, your ability to articulate complex ideas are all direct measures of the knowledge you have accumulated over time. A rich vocabulary is more than just knowing a lot of words. It is a more precise and nuanced toolkit for thinking and communicating. Each word represents a concept. A larger vocabulary allows for finer distinctions in thought. It enables you to capture a specific shade of meaning, writing a poem, negotiating a contract, explaining your feelings to a friend. This mastery of language is built incrementally over a lifetime. We begin with simple words in childhood and gradually add more complex and abstract terms through schooling, reading, conversation. This is why vocabulary tests are a reliable indicator of crystallized intelligence. They are a direct sample of the verbal information stored in your mental library. It is a measurable sign of a well-stocked mind. Beyond vocabulary, crystallized intelligence governs our ability to communicate effectively. It includes structuring a persuasive argument and telling a compelling story. When you write an essay, you draw on sentence structure, paragraphing, rhetorical devices. Crystallized intelligence is crucial for professions that rely on communication: teaching, law, writing, therapy. A great therapist uses deep understanding of language and human psychology to help clients articulate problems and find solutions. A great novelist uses their vast vocabulary and storytelling skills to create rich, immersive worlds. In these fields, wielding language with precision and empathy is not just a tool, it is the essence of the work, a direct expression of a lifetime of learning and experience. The most hopeful and defining characteristic of crystallized intelligence is its trajectory over a lifetime. While fluid intelligence peaks in our 20s and begins a gentle decline, crystallized intelligence follows a completely different path. It continues to grow and strengthen throughout adulthood, often well into our 60s, 70s, and beyond. Every year brings new experiences, new learning, new skills, all of which are added to our mental library. This means that in many important ways, we can become intellectually richer and more capable as we age. This continuous growth helps to counterbalance the decline in fluid intelligence. An older adult might take a bit longer to solve a novel logic puzzle, but then they will likely have a much larger vocabulary and a deeper understanding of the world than their younger self. An older architect might use their vast experience to design a brilliant building, relying on a lifetime of crystallized knowledge about materials, structures, and aesthetics. This upward trend is not automatic. It is contingent on continued engagement with the world. Just as a library can fall into disuse, crystallized intelligence can stagnate if it is not actively maintained and expanded. The people who show the greatest gains in crystallized intelligence later in life are those who remain curious, keep learning new things, stay socially active, and continue to read and explore their interests. Lifelong learning is not just a pleasant hobby, it is a fundamental mechanism for building and reinforcing your cognitive reserves as you age, ensuring that your mind remains a vibrant and growing resource. This enduring growth offers a powerful and positive perspective on aging. It suggests that our later years can be a time of profound intellectual strength and contribution. The wise elder is not just a cultural stereotype, it is a cognitive reality, rooted in the steady accumulation of crystallized intelligence. While youth may have the advantage of speed and flexibility, maturity brings the invaluable asset of knowledge, experience, and judgment. Understanding this allows us to appreciate the unique cognitive strengths that define each stage of life, celebrating both the quick, adaptive mind of the young and the deep, knowledgeable mind of the old. Section 1. A Tale of Two Intelligences. The idea that intelligence is not a single monolithic entity has its roots in the mid-20th century. The story begins with a British-American psychologist named Raymond Cattell. In the 1940s, Cattell was working to understand the structure of human personality and intellect. He observed a curious pattern in intelligence test results. He noticed that people's performance on different types of mental tasks changed differently over their lifespan. Some abilities like vocabulary and general knowledge seemed to increase with age. Others, like solving abstract puzzles under time pressure, seemed to peak early in life and then slowly decline. This observation was a puzzle in itself. If intelligence was just one thing, why did it not follow a single, consistent path? Cattell proposed a groundbreaking solution. He theorized that what we call general intelligence was not one thing at all, but two major, distinct factors. He gave them beautifully descriptive names: fluid intelligence, GF. He likened fluid intelligence to a liquid, representing its adaptable, formless nature, and crystallized intelligence. The metaphor here is of a crystal, something that is formed and built up over time through the slow accretion of material. He saw this as a more biologically based, innate reasoning capacity. It was the raw power of the mind, independent of any specific learning or cultural content. This represented the knowledge and skills that are acquired through education, experience, and culture. It was the accumulated wisdom and knowledge that becomes solidified or crystallized in our minds. Cattell's theory provided an elegant explanation for the age-related patterns he had observed. The gentle decline in puzzle-solving ability could be explained by the natural aging of the brain's biological hardware, affecting fluid intelligence. Meanwhile, the steady increase in knowledge and vocabulary was a logical consequence of a lifetime of learning, which constantly added to one's crystallized intelligence. This simple but powerful distinction laid the foundation for decades of future research. It gave psychologists a new language and a new framework for exploring the complexities of the human mind. Section 2. The G Factor's Great Divide. He was building upon the work of an earlier pioneer, Charles Spearman. In the early 1900s, Spearman proposed a general intelligence factor, the G Factor. Spearman noticed people who did well on one cognitive test tended to do well on others, suggesting a single underlying capacity. Cattell's theory wasn't a rejection, it was a refinement. He proposed G could be split into two major subcomponents, GF, fluid, and GC, crystallized. The theory was further developed by one of Cattell's students, John L. Horn. Starting in the 1960s, Horn did extensive research supporting the fluid crystallized model. He and Cattell created the Cattell-Horn theory, still influential today. The distinction solved a major paradox. How could a person get smarter by knowing more, and less smart by thinking slower at the same time? The GFGC model showed it wasn't a contradiction. It reflected two different cognitive systems with different developmental trajectories. This let researchers study the effects of aging, education, brain injury with more precision. This division bridged academic theory and real-world observation. Think of an older person who's slower with new technology, but who has deep wisdom and judgment from experience. The GFGC model gave that observation a scientific basis. As our tools for studying the brain became more sophisticated, scientists began to search for the physical basis of fluid and crystallized intelligence. Research consistently links fluid intelligence to a network of regions primarily located in the front of the brain. The star player in this network is the prefrontal cortex. When you are trying to solve a new problem, it is your prefrontal cortex that is hard at work. The efficiency of this network is a strong predictor of how well someone will perform on fluid intelligence tasks. If fluid intelligence lives primarily in the brain's frontal networks, where is the vast library of crystallized intelligence stored? The answer is that it is much more widely distributed in the temporal lobes and the parietal lobes. Brain scans during vocabulary tests and during general knowledge quizzes show activation patterns distinct from fluid tasks. Crystallized tasks rely less on prefrontal executive control and more on posterior networks tied to long-term memory. This neural evidence supports Cattell's original theory. Fluid and crystallized intelligence are supported by different, though overlapping, neural systems, each with its own function and timeline. AI researchers even borrow this concept, combining fluid-like reasoning models with crystallized knowledge bases, e.g., reasoning LLMs, connected to external data. The most powerful intelligence, human or artificial, comes from the partnership of knowing what and knowing how. In education, this duality is in motion. A student first meets a new math problem like algebra. Novelty demands fluid intelligence. With practice, hundreds of problems make that knowledge crystallized. Algebra rules become second nature, a tool in the mental library. Early career professionals stand out for fluid intelligence. They learn new software quickly. They adapt rapidly to change. With experience, the balance shifts toward crystallized intelligence. Senior leaders. In crisis, they make sound judgments. They see the bigger picture younger colleagues might miss. Fluid intelligence can decline, so we protect it. Learn a musical instrument, play strategy games. Crystallized intelligence can grow indefinitely. Commit to lifelong learning. Read widely. Take classes. Throughout this exploration, we journeyed into the structure of human thought, uncovering a fundamental truth. Intelligence is not one thing, it is two. On one side, fluid intelligence, the brain's raw biological horsepower. Quick, adaptable, abstract reasoning, to solve novel problems, see new patterns, think on our feet. In simplest form, a measure of how well you think. On the other side, crystallized intelligence, the mind's ever-growing library, the vast accumulation of knowledge, skills, and wisdom. Vocabulary, understanding of history, judgment, born from experience. In essence, a measure of what you know. Practical wisdom. Value and cultivate both kinds of thinking. Nurture fluid intelligence by embracing novelty. Never stop building crystallized intelligence. Ultimately, this story is hopeful. It replaces the narrow idea of a fixed IQ with an expansive vision of human potential. Some abilities change with the seasons of life, others grow and flourish indefinitely. Understand and embrace the dual nature of the mind. Appreciate the unique strengths of every age. Honor the quick, innovative spark of youth. Honor the deep, accumulated wisdom of experience. A whole, powerful mind blends how to think and what is known.